Okay, here's our next example for negative exponents, part 2. This one has a lot more going on, but when I look at this, I still see doubles or multiples of each of the variables, and my brain does not want to deal with that. So I want to use the exponent law where I can subtract, since I see a division bar, and kind of eliminate some of these extra variables or excess variables. So I'm going to do that first and separate them all out. So I can rewrite this by separating out the numbers into their own fraction, the x's into their fraction, the y's into their own fraction, and the z's into their own fraction. I already checked 2/3 is already in its simplest form. I cannot simplify that fraction any further, but if I could, I would. So it's already simplified, but if I could, I would simplify. And now I'm going to go through, and for each set of where the bases are the same, I'm going to subtract the exponents. Okay, so I kept my fraction since it couldn't be simplified. I subtracted my exponents. 4 minus 2 is 2. And remember, from my last videos, every time you subtract, that always goes in the numerator, and then the 1 goes on the bottom. Here we have -4 minus -3. That gives me a -1. Still putting it in my numerator. Every time I subtract, that goes in the numerator, over 1. Here I have -3 minus 4. In the numerator, we get -7. Every time I subtract, my answer always goes in my numerator. Now, because we're dealing with negative exponents, we have to go through and decide if we're going to keep our variable or our number where it is because of the exponent, or if we need to flip it due to its exponent being negative. So here I'm going to keep my 2/3 because it's a fraction, numbers, no exponents or anything. It's all good. Here I have x to the second power, positive exponent. I'm going to keep it. So x to the second power over 1 is good. It can stay there because it's already positive. Our next one is y to the -1. Since it's negative, it needs to jump to the bottom and pass that fraction bar to become positive. So here, I have to put it down here. It needs to come down to the bottom, which means I have to put that 1 up top. Here we have a -7, which means it needs to cross the fraction bar. So it needs to come down here, z, and it will become +7, which means I need to move the 1 to the top. 2 times 1 times 1 is 2, times x to the second is x to the second. 3 times 1 is 3, times y to the first, or y, which is just y, anything to the first power is itself, times z to the 7th, z to the 7th. So this is our final answer, simplified and written with all positive exponents.